What's up everybody, I'm Matt Gary, and on this episode of Coding with the Force, I'm going to show you how to use data attributes in Lightning Web Components. Alright guys, so today we're going to go over how to use data attributes in Lightning Web Components. And just like with every other video I do, I first want to explain why using or knowing how to use data sets is so important. The primary reason why it's useful to know how these data attributes work just in general for HTML and JavaScript, this is not unique to Lightning Web Components, by the way. It's a transferable skill to anything with front-end development, really, is that sometimes you need to, on a button click, pass multiple values to a method, right? And there's no great way to do that sometimes. Sometimes you can pass an object on click to a method or something, but every once in a while that's not, what you should do maybe, or it's just not feasible for one reason or another. And in those cases, it can be really beneficial to use data attributes. This is super useful whenever you have like, say, an Aura iteration where you're looping through an array of data and creating buttons or something, and you want to dynamically place the ID of a record in here, or maybe the name of a contact in here, and on button click pass it back to the JavaScript controller. So extremely useful for tables, Aura iterations of any kind, because you can put data in these data attributes and it becomes really easy to pass really whatever you want to the JavaScript method that you end up calling on the click of a button or click of a tab or whatever it might be. Table row is another good one you might click. Anyway, let's just go over this. So I've already kind of created this quick template. Basically today we're just going to create a button. I'm going to show you how to set up a data attribute on a button. You would do this the exact same way on pretty much anything else. And then how you would grab that data in your JavaScript controller in a method. And we're going to go over a couple of important distinctions between target and current target, because I think people really get confused about that too. So let's get to it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is create a Lightning Web component. Okay, you can call this whatever you want, it doesn't particularly matter. I'm going to call mine LWC data attributes. Cool. And make sure that it is exposed. You don't have to create a CSS file because we're not styling anything, but if you wanted to style it, make sure to create a CSS file. And if you're not using IntelliJ and Illuminated Cloud 2, which is the IDE I'm using right now in front of you, that's okay. I'll show you how to set up that exposed thing that we just did in the metadata file here in just a second. Okay, so actually, why don't we just do that first? So the first thing that we'll do is just set up the metadata so that you can expose this, so that you can also put it in a Lightning App Builder page and test it for yourself if you want to. The first thing that you'll do is, if you go to your Lightning Web Components metadata file, it will likely say is exposed false unless you have Illuminated Cloud 2 and you've done what I just did. Anyway, all you have to do is put true in place of false, and now your Lightning Web Component can be exposed places, as in placed on pages. The next thing that you'll want to do is create a targets tag and then a target. And we are going to put this on a Lightning app page. I think that's what it is. I'm going to double check myself here. Yeah, okay, cool. I got it right. And basically what this allows you to do is, now that I've put this target on here, I can drag and drop this onto an app page in the Lightning App Builder. That's different from a Lightning App Builder record page or a home page. If you wanted to do one of those, you would create a new target. It's not really what this video is about, but it would be like Lightning record page, and same thing for home page. Okay, I don't need this though, so I'm going to delete it. Next thing we're going to do is come on over here to our HTML template, and I will zoom in. I probably should have done that on the metadata. If I didn't, I didn't. Just so you know, here it is. A little bit bigger, a little easier to see. Well, anyway, let's go back to our Lightning Web Components HTML file and just create a real quick Lightning button. And we'll give it a label of click me, bruh. And we will do an onClick that is that we'll call a method that we'll create here in just a second called get data attributes. Obviously, this method can be called whatever you want, so don't feel like you have to follow my naming conventions. Or my names in general. I don't know that they're naming conventions. Now, what we'll want to do is set up data attributes. And let me explain while I write this, how these work. So you do data-id. The thing that comes after the dash here, data dash, can literally be anything. Anything you can think up, any word that you want to write can be after that dash. So this could be data tacos or data donkey. It doesn't matter. And then you'd say, then you'd give it the value you want. So I'll just say donkeys are cool. And we'll give it another one just to be thorough. And we'll say data turtle. And we'll give this one a value of Ninja Turtles. Now you can imagine if I was like going through an OR iteration for an array of data, we could, instead of putting ridiculous strings in here like donkeys are cool or something, you could, put the ID of one of your the record you're currently on in your iteration, or you could put the name of a contact for your iteration, kind of like we talked about a minute ago. That's when this really becomes super useful. But I don't want to get, too in the weeds on that. I kind of just want to show you how these data attributes actually work. So let's grab the name of this method, whatever you named it, come back over here to our JavaScript controller and actually build the method. And we're just going to output some console logs so that we can see this in action. But I'll walk you through the important parts. So we're going to do, we also need to pass in the event in here. Very important. Make sure that you pass the event value in here, or else you're not going to get anything useful. So we'll say event dot, target dot data set. And just so that we can see what is in that data set, I'm going to make this a little easier to find. Say this is the data set. And I'm going to use the JSON stringify method to make this a easily readable string instead of the JSON object that it produces, which in a console log would just produce object if I didn't do JSON stringify. And then I'm going to also copy this and just show you this is the data set taco. Oh wait, no, I didn't do tacos. I did turtle. And what did I actually do? Was it? Oh yeah, it was just turtle. You'd come back over here and say event.target.dataset.turtle. And again, in just a minute, I'm going to go over what target is and how event works. But let's just see this in action. All right. So I'm saving this, and I'm going to come over here into Salesforce, and I'm going to go to Setup, going to create a Lightning App Builder page. Oh, I forgot my dog's in here behind me. Not relevant to this video, but she's in here. Okay, and we're going to create an app page because that's the target that I gave that Lightning Web Component. It won't show up for home pages and record pages. And let's call this LWC attributes. Could be called whatever, it really does not matter. I'm just setting this up so that we can look at it super easy. And we'll drag our LWC data attributes component right onto the page and just hit save, and we'll want to activate it or one of our applications. I'll just do the sales app, and what did I call this one? Just LWC attributes. That's important. As you can see, I clearly practice all these before I do this. I want to try and waste as little time of yours as I can. All right, so we'll go to the LWC attributes, and you can see it's just this one button. And we're going to bring up the console because once we click the button, we should see some cool things happen in the console. So I'm going to click it and bring the console back over here. And you can see in those console logs, we got the data set that's donkey and turtle. And when we specified that we wanted to see the turtle, we got Ninja Turtles, which was the value that we cared about. Oh man, too many windows. Right, so the first one was our data set, which, as you can see, ended up being both donkey and turtle here. And the second one was more specifically, our turtle. All right, so you can see we got what we wanted, which is great news. I guess I can zoom in on that a little bit. Got what we wanted as, determined here. Cool. So you can see that data, these data attributes can literally be anything. It does not matter what you put after the word data. It just, you can use really whatever terminology you'd like to, which is pretty cool. Now, a couple things I want to go over. What is an event and what is the difference between target and current target? Super important. People get very confused about this, and it makes it so that they don't end up using this because they get super lost. The event is the act of clicking on the component that has this JavaScript or this HTML event on this on-click event, right? So whatever element has this is the one that's being passed in the event, more or less. Now, the difference between target and current target is the target is what you truly actually clicked on, and the current target is the one that actually has this on-click event on it. So let me show you what I mean by this. Let's change this to current target. And if I just leave this way and we go back and I hard refresh this page and click it again, everything is fine, right? If I look, let me get rid of that. If I look, everything works just fine. Great. Now, when I do this though, which is not uncommon, this scenario happens quite frequently, even if you've never had to deal with it. Oftentimes, you'll have the on-click handler or whatever handler somewhere else. So maybe I've actually put it on the div that is wrapped around here, wrapped around my button. right? Does it make a lot of sense in my scenario? No, but you'll find that there are scenarios where this does make sense and can get very confusing. So if I leave this on click here, the way that it is, or in the div now instead of on the button, and I continue to use currentTarget, you can see that on my div I don't have any data attributes at all, right? And currentTarget is representative of the target that has the actual method, the on-click method, right? Or on-click. I'm using the wrong words. You get what I'm saying. I hope. Anyway, if I refresh this page now, and I click on this, and I bring up my, whoa, not that guy. Not that one either. Or that one. But this one. Here we go. You can see that the data set is nothing. It became undefined all of a sudden, right? If I clear this and click it one more time, we're going to end up with the same thing. We've got undefined and nothing in our data set array. And again, that is simply because of how we've set this up now. The currentTarget, again, is going to technically be this div. However, if you want it to be the true target of your click, which was the button, then you'd call target.dataset. And then you'll see all of a sudden everything starts to come back. If I hard refresh this page again, and I get organized and actually bring the right thing up, and click this, you'll see all of a sudden, just by changing that from currentTarget to target, you get those values back in there. So it's an extremely important thing to know the difference between what target and currentTarget is. Target is the true element within that div that you clicked, and currentTarget is the element in which had the on-click handler, right? Super important, very confusing if you've never done that before. People will just sit here for hours like, what the hell, why, why does this not work? And that's exactly why you get into those situations from time to time. So also useful because maybe you have a button in here, right? Maybe it's in like a table. You've got a button in a table, but the data attributes are actually on the table row or something. So you put the on click on the table row or table data element, and you get your data attributes from the table element instead of the button. I don't know. There's a bunch of scenarios where you'd rather use one over the other. Anyway, that is it for today's video, I think. Sorry it's been so long since I made a video. I am not gonna do that again, I don't think. Anyway, I hope this was useful. If it was, make sure to subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to know when I make new videos. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.